My name is Emma Carter. I'm 33 years old, and I live in Willow Creek, a small, quiet town where everyone knows each other. From the outside, my childhood seemed normal. We lived in a clean house on a quiet street. People smiled and waved. But inside my home, things were different. My younger sister, Stella, was always the favorite. She got all the attention. My parents praised everything she did, her school awards, her looks, her friends. My mom, Gianna Carter, called her my little star. My dad, Robert, always had time for her. I was the quiet one. I followed the rules. I stayed out of trouble. But no one noticed me. I felt like I was invisible. When I was a teenager, I started working with clay. I liked shaping it with my hands. It helped me feel calm. I made bowls, cups, and small sculptures. One day, I showed my mom a piece I was proud of. She laughed and said, "This looks cheap. Who would buy this?" I didn't reply. I just nodded. After high school, I saved money and started my own ceramic studio. I worked alone. I didn't ask my family for help. I made everything by hand and sold it online. Slowly, people started buying my work. I wasn't rich, but I was proud of what I built. Still, my parents never took it seriously. They called me low maintenance and said I was easy. That meant I didn't need much from them. They never asked how my work was going. They only talked about Stella and her big plans. I got used to being alone. I stopped expecting praise. I learned to rely on myself. And then I met Jackson Miles. I met Jackson Miles at a local art event. He was standing near one of my display tables, looking at a ceramic teapot I had made. Most people just walked by, but he stopped. He asked questions, real ones, about the shape, the texture, the process. He listened to every word I said. He told me he was a landscape architect. He worked on parks and outdoor spaces. He liked design, patterns, and balance, just like me, but with plants and stone. We talked for a long time that day. He didn't look at his phone. He wasn't in a rush. When he said, "You have real talent," I believed him. We started meeting for coffee, then dinners, then long walks. He was quiet but kind. He noticed small things like how I tapped my fingers when I was thinking, or how I always double-checked my bag before leaving a place. No one ever noticed those things before. He came to my studio often. He watched me work, asked questions, and brought me food when I forgot to eat. He never made fun of my art. He treated it like it mattered. After a year of dating, he asked me to move in with him. I said yes. We found a small house outside town where I had space for a bigger studio. He helped me set it up. He even built shelves for my supplies. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. Not just noticed, but understood. Jackson didn't try to change me. He didn't talk over me. He didn't compare me to anyone else. One night, he took me to a quiet restaurant. After dinner, he handed me a small box. Inside was a ring, simple, with a small stone. He didn't make a big speech. He just said, "I love you. Will you marry me?" I said yes. We picked a date, May 15th, at 2 in the afternoon. We booked a venue called Oak Ridge Garden Estate. I started painting ceramic nameplates for each guest. It was going to be small and personal, just like us. I was happy. Then the call came. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was finishing the last set of ceramic nameplates when my phone rang. It was my mom, Gianna. I wiped my hands and answered. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't ask about the wedding plans. She went straight to it. "Stella's getting married," she said. "She's chosen May 15th too. Same time. Same venue." I didn't speak right away. I thought maybe I misheard her. "The same venue?" I asked. "Yes. Oak Ridge Garden Estate," she said, like it was nothing. "Her event will be larger. More important. She has over 200 guests. Influential people." I took a deep breath. I booked that place months ago. I already sent out invitations. Gianna's tone changed. Cold. Sharp. "You can find another place, Emma. Stella's wedding needs more space and attention. It's better this way. I couldn't believe it. My own mother was asking me to move my wedding. For my sister. Again. I'm not changing it, I said quietly. There was a long silence. Then she said, "You're being difficult." "I'm not," I replied. "I chose that date. I planned everything. It's mine." She ended the call without saying goodbye. I stood there, phone in hand, staring at the list of guests I had written. My nameplates were still drying on the table. I felt like someone had kicked the air out of me. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat down and stared at the wall. This wasn't the first time my family pushed me aside for Stella. But this time, I wasn't going to move. The next few days were quiet. No calls. No texts. Not from my mom. Not from my dad. Not even from Stella. I waited, thinking maybe someone would try to talk to me. Explain. Apologize. No one did. Jackson saw it in my face. I told him everything. He sat beside me and didn't say much at first. Then he said, "You're not changing a thing. This is your day too." That was all I needed to hear. A few days later, the real storm hit. Travis, Stella's fiancé, broke off the engagement. Word spread quickly, and people in town started talking. Someone told me it was because of the wedding clash, how it made Travis rethink everything. He didn't like the drama. He didn't like how it was being handled. That night, I received a message from Stella. It was short. "Hope you're happy. You'll regret this." I read it twice, but didn't reply. The next morning, Gianna called again. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail, blaming me for everything: the broken engagement, the embarrassment, the ruined plans. She said I had sabotaged my sister's life. Then Dad joined in. He sent an email, cold and brief. "You should have stepped aside. We expected better from you." I stared at that line for a long time. All those years, I kept quiet. I let them choose Stella. I stayed small so they could feel big. I thought maybe one day, they'd see me. Now I knew they never would. I deleted the message, then opened a new file on my computer and finalized the guest list. I had a wedding to finish planning. A week before the wedding, I went to the cafe down the street. Lily Monroe was behind the counter. She handed me my usual drink and leaned in. "Have you heard?" she asked. I shook my head. "Stella's been talking. She's furious. Said you ruined her life. Said she's going to make sure you don't get your perfect little wedding." I didn't answer right away. Lily glanced around, then whispered, "Someone at the salon said Stella bought some kind of spray. A chemical. Meant to burn or irritate skin. She told the clerk it was for a prank." My stomach turned. Lily looked serious. "I know your family. I know how they've treated you. But this is different. You need to be careful." I nodded slowly. That night, I told Jackson. He listened carefully, then said, "We can postpone." I looked at him. "No. I'm not giving them that power." He reached for my hand. "Then we'll be ready. We'll watch every corner. I won't let anything happen to you." Later that night, I got a message from my aunt, Dad's sister. She said my parents were defending Stella, believing whatever she planned would be justified. It didn't surprise me. I spent the next few days double-checking the guest list, the layout, even the security. Lily offered to help. So did Jackson's best friend, Eric. I wasn't scared. I was tired. Tired of being pushed aside. Tired of being blamed. This time, I wasn't going to hide. I woke up early. My dress hung near the window, simple and soft, just how I wanted it. Lily arrived with a small bag of makeup and hairpins. She didn't speak much. She just worked with care. Jackson sent a text while I was getting ready. "I love you. This is our day." Eric came to pick me up. He smiled and offered his arm. "Ready to walk into the rest of your life?" I nodded. The venue looked beautiful. Chairs were neatly lined, the arch set with flowers, and soft music played in the background. Guests were arriving. Faces I knew, and some I didn't. Collectors, artists, people from Jackson's world. I stood behind the archway, waiting for my cue. Then I saw Jackson. He stood at the end of the aisle, hands folded, smiling at me. Calm. Steady. My heart settled. As I walked forward, I didn't look around. I just looked at him. We stood together and said our vows. His voice was clear. Mine shook, but only a little. He held my hand the whole time. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," he leaned in gently, like it was just the two of us in the world. People clapped. Cameras clicked. But I didn't care about any of that. I had made it to this moment. On my own terms. The reception was going well. Guests talked, laughed, and took pictures. I stood near Jackson, holding a glass of sparkling water, feeling proud. Everything looked how I imagined, simple, clean, and peaceful. Then I saw them. Gianna, Robert, and Stella. They walked in like they belonged there. No warning. No invitation. Whispers started moving through the crowd. Jackson turned to me. "Do you want me to stop them?" "No," I said. "Let's just see what they're doing." Stella walked toward me, smiling in a way that didn't feel real. She held a small bottle in her hand. It looked like perfume. "I brought you something," she said. I took a step back. "Stella, this is not the time." "Oh, come on," she said, lifting the bottle. "It's just a little gift." Before I could stop her, she sprayed it. Right into my face. My skin burned immediately. My lips, cheeks, and chin started to sting. Then came the heat. Then the pain. I dropped my glass. My hands flew to my face. My eyes filled with tears, not from crying, but from the reaction. My skin felt like it was on fire. Someone screamed. I think it was Lily. Jackson grabbed me. "What happened? What did she spray?" Guests rushed around us. Lily shouted, "It was a chemical. She's something dangerous." Everything blurred. My skin was swelling fast. My throat began to tighten. Breathing became hard. Jackson picked me up. "We're going to the hospital." Now. Eric cleared a path through the crowd. Someone called an ambulance, but Jackson didn't wait. He carried me to his car and drove fast. I couldn't speak. My lips were already swollen. My whole face pulsed with pain. I closed my eyes and leaned into the seat. I heard Jackson's voice saying, "Stay with me, Emma. We're almost there." I didn't know what Stella had sprayed, but I knew one thing for sure: this was no accident. The emergency room lights were harsh. Nurses rushed over as Jackson carried me inside. My face was throbbing. I couldn't open my eyes all the way. Every inch of my skin felt tight and hot. She was sprayed in the face with something. Jackson told them. Her breathing was getting worse. It was a direct hit. They laid me on a stretcher and wheeled me behind a curtain. A nurse started in 4 while another gently pressed a cold cloth against my face. I winced. The pain didn't stop. My lips were cracked and swollen. My skin had turned a deep red. "What was it?" the doctor asked. "Do you know what was sprayed?" Jackson shook his head. It looked like a perfume bottle, but someone said it might have been chemical. I wanted to speak, to explain, but my throat was raw. I couldn't get the words out. They gave me something to reduce the reaction. A mask covered my face, pumping cool air into my lungs. I heard machines beeping and soft voices moving around me. Hours passed. Maybe more. The swelling eased slightly. My breathing calmed. A nurse checked my vitals again. "You're lucky it didn't reach your eyes," she said. "You'll need to rest and stay hydrated. The skin may take some time to recover." Later, Jackson came back to my bedside. His face was pale. "The police are involved now," he said quietly. Lily gave a statement. Some guests recorded the moment. Everyone saw what Stella did. I nodded weakly. He took my hand. "You didn't deserve this. You were only trying to live your life." Tears came to my eyes, not from pain this time, but from something deeper. Sadness. Hurt. Anger. I whispered through swollen lips, "She tried to ruin everything." Jackson leaned closer. She failed. I didn't know how my face would heal or how long it would take, but I knew one thing clearly: this wasn't the end. Not for me. Not for my story. I was released from the hospital 2 days later with bandages on my face and a long list of instructions. Rest. Ointments. No direct sun. They said the reaction had caused chemical burns, shallow ones, thankfully, but it would take time to fully heal. Back at home, I stayed in bed while Jackson handled everything. The video had already gone viral. Someone at the wedding had recorded the exact moment Stella sprayed me. It was posted online with the caption, "Bride attacked at her own wedding," by her sister. People were shocked. Comments flooded in. "This is evil. She needs to be arrested. That poor woman. She deserves justice." Lily posted a detailed account of what happened, tagging me and Jackson. Journalists began to reach out. A local news anchor called my work hauntingly beautiful and asked for an interview when I recovered. Gianna and Robert tried to deny everything. Gianna gave a short statement to a cousin. It was a misunderstanding. Stella just wanted to apologize. But the footage didn't lie. Guests had seen it with their own eyes. And no one was buying the apology excuse. Even extended family members began speaking up, things they had noticed over the years. Patterns of favoritism, dismissal, silence. I wasn't the only one they'd treated unfairly. Jackson read some of the messages to me while I rested. "People are with you, Emma. They see the truth now." I nodded. I didn't want fame. I didn't want to be pitied. I just wanted the truth to be seen, for once. That week, I received an email from a gallery owner in New York. She had seen the video and my ceramics online. She was offering me a solo exhibit. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Jackson smiled from across the room. "Looks like the world is finally seeing you," he said. And maybe, for the first time, I was starting to see myself too. Stella was charged with assault. The video, witness statements, and chemical analysis of the spray left no room for excuses. Her lawyer tried to downplay it as emotional distress, but the judge didn't buy it. She was ordered to pay damages, and though the sentence wasn't long, her name was everywhere, for all the wrong reasons. Her brand deals ended overnight. Sponsors pulled out. Her curated image as a wellness influencer crumbled. Her social media pages were filled with angry comments. She tried turning off the comments, then eventually deactivated everything. Gianna and Robert stayed quiet, but it didn't help. They were called out by other relatives, people who had been too polite to speak up before. Suddenly, everyone remembered the times I was overlooked, dismissed, pushed aside. They had stories, too. No one from my family called to apologize. And that was fine. Jackson and I took a short honeymoon to a quiet cabin in Maine. We walked, cooked, sat in silence, and listened to the trees. There were no phones ringing, no fake smiles, no judgment, just peace. While we were away, I began sketching new ideas, shapes that felt raw and uneven. I molded clay without thinking, letting my hands feel the weight of everything I'd carried. When we got back, I launched a new ceramic series called Fired Truths. Each piece held a crack, a twist, a scar on purpose. They were bold, jagged, honest. People loved them. The gallery openings sold out on the first night. Collectors placed pre-orders. A journalist from Modern Clay magazine did a feature on me, titled, "The Artist Who Chose Herself." I stood there that night, under the soft lights, surrounded by people who admired what I made, not for who my family was, not for who I was supposed to be, but for the truth in my work. I was Emma Carter, ceramic artist, wife, survivor. And finally, I had chosen me.